To own a multi-billion-yuan construction may sound like a big deal. But what about just a slice of it? A multi-million-dollar painting or 100 million yuan grape business in Shanghai might sound big too. But what about owning a tiny fraction of it for as long as it suits you? It's possible and less complicated than you might think, thanks to developments in blockchain technology.
Tokenized assets, they allow people to transact in small portions.
It's called real-world asset or RWA tokenization.
Will reach about the $50 trillion marketplace.
RWA 是我们数据资产的 IPO.
China by 2030 will be
1/3
of the world's RWA trading market.
Yeah.
We're going to create another miracle.
Okay, intuition tells me this could be big because it sounds a bit like having stocks, digital ownership of real-world asset that pays real dividends.
In the real world, a lot of the assets, they cannot connect with the capital market. They cannot connect with the investor. So we call this kind of the project a hidden project,
When the world is facing an economic downturn and is urgently chasing new growth drivers, would this be what industry needs?
Data assets will be a very important growth engine, for China and also for the whole world.
The numbers speak volumes. Boston Consulting Group estimates that by 2030, the tokenized real-world assets market could exceed $16 trillion, accounting for about 10% of global GDP. The World Economic Forum is saying the 10% threshold will be reached earlier, by 2027.
There'll be democratization of asset ownership with tokenization, but also increased liquidity.
Many people compare RWA issuance with IPO. Do you think it's fair to say that?
Compared with the history, you have only the way is the whole company using the stock exchange market to listing in the market. But this time you can have your asset packaged as a project, and you can listing in the open market. So this is quite different. So this will help the entity in more efficiency to using the capital.
Hong Kong and Shanghai are the first two cities in China that have piloted RWA trading.
I don't think this technology is going to advance as much as it would if China were not in the forefront. You need the scale of China. You need the investment of China. You need the wealth of China. You need the smarts of China to make this technology flourish.
China's now in the game, not the first on the field, but with big ambitions.
China is the first country take data as a factor, compare with the capital, lending, like technology and the labor.
Why does this matter now? How is it luring investors, and what challenges might be ahead? It's worth looking back a few months to the Data Asset Management Summit held in Shanghai in November, where the first tokenized asset project on the Chinese mainland made its debut. It's a project built on a digital system for farming a local grape species, where you can see exactly what's going on at every vineyard in Shanghai.
这个系统呢，就是说我们平常生产作业当中呢，就是有一个指导性的东西。正常情况下，就每天都要去看一下。
上了 RWA 之后，觉得整个产业规模会有怎么样的扩大？
我希望就是 RWA 这个项目以后呢，就是说价格能甚至翻倍以上。
The whole system was originally designed by a Shanghai-based agricultural data service provider to offer farming data visualization and help farmers better connect with intelligent farming equipment and financial services. 早期作为数据产品的话，是服务于金融机构、服务于农民，关于他们的一些需求，比如说金融服务啊。但是真的要创收，是不是就需要通过数据资产来做了？
对，因为它只有变成资产，变成一个标准化的产品的时候，它在市场上才通过价格的交易发现价值。
资产交易就只能 RWA 走了。
对，可能以前整体按照一个大的项目，可能是一个完整的几个亿的项目。可能现在我有1000块钱，有1万块钱，有几百块钱，可能都能参与进行投资。
The system has turned from a data product into a data asset, and first released on the Shanghai Data Exchange. Starting last year, it began listing at the Shanghai Equity Exchange as an RWA. The first two investors are local fund managers, with an initial investment of 10 million yuan.
现在有些大的机构想拿更大的一个产业背景，比如说中草药啊， 是吧？有高附加值的、有体量的这种农业作为背景。现在跟我们初步谈的、接触的已经有几十家投资机构了，可能有10个亿、20个亿的都有。
A digital system has turned from a production tool to an investment ecosystem.
我们初步测算，像 RWA 的这个项目，它1年的年化收益最低都能达到5%、6%以上。
Where would the return come from?
The first party is coming from the selling the grape. When they're using this kind of the way, help the farmer, to improve their production, process the quantities, the price, can be sell more high, so they can share about the revenue. This is a majority of their income. The second thing is the project company using the data.
All RWA listings have a direct linkage with the physical thing in the real world. So, in the real world, the farmers and financial institutions are leveraging the digital system to enhance their production efficiency and thus getting more profits. And that profit could then be reflected in RWA trading on the blockchain, where investors can share their returns and the system could get better upgrades. And the farmers could then get more added value on their products. So it's like a virtuous circle between the real and virtual world.
这一次上海，你看我们是全域啊，一共有230万亩农业用地，全部上图。马路葡萄只是当中的2000多亩
，230万亩里的2500，
对，
找了一个很小的切入口。
2000多亩在农业的这种单品里面的管控起来会比较方便。
The grape farming monitoring system covers just 1.8 million square meters of farming area, part of a platform that currently monitors 18 billion square meters of farming.
像滚雪球一样越滚越大。它这个模式以后，它就变成了农业资产的运营模式，它就可以有打包很多地理标志产品，用这种模式去实现它的增值运营。
还能有多少能挖掘出来？
因为我们国家有18亿亩基本耕地。
The current task is to figure out how to share the profits in the right way between the project initiator, the exchange, auditor, operator, and farmers, which according to Zhang could take another year. And then more industries are expected to join the RWA market.
You're looking for the real estate, green energies, computing power. All this in China is a lot of the entity with this.
That grape RWA case is a special one. The system serves as both a data product and a data asset. On the one hand, it helps financial institutions to prove credit loan and insurance for farmers as a product listed on the Shanghai Data Exchange. On the other hand, the system itself holds its own technical value as an asset traded at the Shanghai Equity Exchange. But for many other firms, things could be different. Would there be some RWA trading that's not included in the data trading market?
This would be a separate market. Maybe you can not listing in the product, but as asset level, you can still go direct to the RWA market.
We see Asia is taking up 1/5 of the world's total market. How much percentage of that will be transferred to RWA trading in the future?
From product level, at least 50% will transfer to the RWA asset market. Overall, China data marketplace at the end of the year 2030, the asset level is the trillion, 1 trillion RMB. But for the trading marketplace, will be like 10 trillion. Yeah, this is a huge market.
In August 2024, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority officially launched the Ensemble Sandbox project, for the first time allowing institutions to experiment with the tokenization of traditional securities and real-world assets.
Hong Kong now, as a financial center, is leading in the world, but primarily in the stock market. And the assets behind it is the manufacturing, and also some of the financial the bankings. Yeah. But looking forward, we actually facing with explosive, revolutionary development of technology. So by developing this real-world asset in the area of technology, Hong Kong needs to create more platforms, not just the stock market. 30 years ago, we have H-shares. The first company is Qingdao Beer, right? But now, the Hong Kong's capital market is huge. So we are actually just at the 30 years ago for H-shares, right? It just begin. Now, the quantities is trivial, but the potential is infinite.
you may have noticed that it could potentially become a new financial variable and could affect all individuals. So China has taken a very careful and cautious first step, especially about how these are traded. Currently, local regulators require all RWA listings on the Chinese mainland to first list their data asset at an official data exchange, and then make their RWA debut at the official equity exchange. In June 2024, the Shanghai Data Exchange was the first in China to launch a data asset trading market.
With the marketplace function, we can have the register, evaluation, credit, enhancement, disclosure, and insurance. This kind of function can help the issue with the RWA token. The new infrastructure is the manage the trust data. The second thing is we have the organization details. We whatever from the consulting level, from the project level, and for the deliver level, and finally using the technology teams to issue the token levels.
Token refers to the digital proof of ownership or rights to an asset. In RWA trading, a token is the payment. In November, the Shanghai Data Exchange issued 2024 non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, to trial trading with tokens.
Currently, CBDC is a legal currency.
CBDC is short for Central Bank Digital Currency.
It's not for investment purpose. We have CBDC in retail, so infrastructure is in there already. So in the real life, CBDC is a part of coexist with the current system already.
Multiple countries, including China, Thailand, United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia, have joined a project called mBridge. It's a platform developed to support real-time, peer-to-peer, cross-border payments and foreign exchange transactions using central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs.
And also, I think in the future, you probably will be able to see the stable currency.
And China's on its way. At the annual Lujiazui Forum, a financial industry event held by China's leading financial regulators last week, Pan Gongsheng, governor of the People's Bank of China, said the country will establish an international operations center for the digital renminbi. Stablecoin was also mentioned at the forum. And another major challenge in front of all players involved is regulation. It's a totally new area, so regulators may have to detail the rules for future trading to reduce the risk of fraud, although blockchain technology has already made fraud much harder.
The challenge is that when there is disputes, how we get you from the crowd to put you on the land, right? And how to enforce that. In a way, we need legal systems, the accounting systems, the law firms, and also the enforcement mechanisms, including the cooperation between Hong Kong regulator and the mainland regulator, and actually including ultimately our police forces.
Institutional investors are already paying a close attention to the new asset investment, and it seems their concerns are already addressed in regulators' minds.
主要关注的点就是这个 RWA 这个资产，我们把钱买成这个资产，然后怎么样子把这个资产变成钱，对吧？这个就是我们要关注的东西。如果它能变成钱，这个通道是能通的，那我们就可能就会参与投资了。
看到这个苗头了吗？
对，有这个苗头。
So for both Hong Kong and Shanghai, the goal is to look for a safe and efficient way to trade.
In order to really determine the value of the asset, you need a global trading. You need a global participants.
And the industry is already working to enhance international cooperation.
We are looking for the marketplace coming from Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai, and Europe. So we try to build some roadshow in the worldwide base to introduce the China project.
And the international connection is not just to ensure the smooth flow of capital.
Most real-world assets are not in Hong Kong, so they are just like actual companies. Shanghai create, the market onshore, but Hong Kong working with Shanghai, we can create both the market onshore and offshore. So it's like a H plus A.
What I see is a lot of activity, a lot of investments. China is one of the leaders in this technology, and I think it really represents a very bright future for China, for the world. And I think the more collaboration we can have across nations, across scientists, across companies, the more we will benefit from the technology.